Hey there, gaming enthusiasts. Welcome to Gaming Axia, your go-to source for all amazing action RPGs. With the start of 2025, it's the perfect time to dive into the most anticipated Souls-like games coming out this year. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. On number 20, we have The Night Wanderer, a game that takes everything you love about RPGs and Souls-like titles and cranks it up with some seriously fresh ideas. Here's the setup. The game is based on the award-winning novel by Jarosław Grzędowicz. You play as Vuko Drakainen, a hardened mercenary on a solo mission to an alien world called Midgard. See, Midgard's not your typical alien planet. It's surrounded by a freaky radiation field that totally fries advanced tech. So instead of laser guns and spacesuits, you're rocking medieval-style armor and blades. And let's not forget the planet's locals, a society straight out of Earth's early Middle Ages. Think Nordic vibes, cold winds, epic landscapes, and secrets lurking around every corner. On number 19, we have Abyss World. This is one epic open-world action RPG with a dark fantasy twist. The game drops you into Nordinia, a fortress city at the farthest edge of the world. This is where it gets interesting. The game lets you summon and train heroic souls, who all have unique backstories and abilities. These aren't just random characters, they've got history. You'll find warriors who were once generals, assassins, or archmages. If you're into exploring massive worlds, assembling badass heroes, and battling dark forces in an epic fantasy setting, Abyss World is definitely one to watch. On number 18, we have Witches of the New World. You're in the heart of New England, a dark and unsettling place where fear of the supernatural still lingers. The game follows Jedediah Hopkins as he goes on a journey to uncover dark secrets, hunts witches, and confronts horrors that blur the line between myth and reality. The story is rooted in history, with dialogue that stays as accurate as possible to 17th century English. This attention to detail really grounds you in the world, but don't worry, it's balanced with plenty of fantasy and horror to keep things interesting. On number 17, we have Mandragora, a game that's part Metroidvania, part Souls-like, and looks downright stunning with its grimdark 2.5D visuals. The premise sets the tone perfectly. You play in the world of Feldum where humanity hides behind walls, and you're out there reclaiming what was lost. The writing by Brian Mitsoda, the guy who worked on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, adds depth to this world. Here's the thing, indie Metroidvanias and Souls-likes are everywhere these days, but Mandragora stands out because it takes what works and polishes it to a shine. On number 16, we have Shadows of the Lost. This dark fantasy Souls-like game looks incredible and brings some cool, fresh ideas to the table. Here's the fun part. The game has momentum-based combat. Every time you land a hit, parry, or perfectly block an attack, you build momentum. The more momentum you have, the stronger you become. But if you get hit or wait too long, you lose it. It keeps fights intense because it rewards skill and quick decisions. You'll need to think fast, stay focused, and time your moves perfectly. If you like games that challenge you but make you feel like a pro when you win, this is it. On number 15, we have Yuangong's Sword Awakening. Developed by a small, independent Chinese team, this game puts you in the shoes of a female protagonist, a skilled warrior who wields a sword with deadly precision. As you can see in the trailer, you probably noticed how much Black Myth Wukong vibes this game is throwing out. It's got that same dark, mythological feel, but instead of playing as the Monkey King, this time it's a female swordswoman stepping into the spotlight. On number 14, we have LuoYang. This game takes you to the late Wuzhou period during the Tang Dynasty, a time when Wu Zetian, the first and only female emperor of China, held power. While we don't have all the details yet, it's clear that LuoYang is leaning heavily into action and investigation. You'll be hunting for clues, tracking down cult members, and slicing through demons to uncover the truth. Also, the game is built in Unreal Engine 5. That means stunning visuals, highly detailed environments, and atmospheric lighting that'll bring ancient LuoYang to life. On number 13, we have Ballad of Antara, a brand new action RPG coming to the PS5 in 2025. In this game, you'll be traveling between two distinct worlds, the normal living world and a mystical realm known as Para. Here's where it gets interesting. Ballad of Antara isn't just a solo adventure. The game will support multiplayer for up to 3 players. That means you can team up with your friends or randoms to tackle story quests, explore diverse zones, and crawl through dungeons together. Whether you're playing alone or with a squad, the game promises a dynamic experience, so you're covered either way. On number 12, we have Vindictus Defying Fate, an upcoming action RPG based on the 2010 Celtic-inspired MMORPG Vindictus. But this time, the MMO is out and the focus is all about fast-paced, single-player action. Based on the pre-alpha footage, this game will pull inspiration from the Souls-like genre while maintaining the fast, flashy pace that made the original so much fun. The combat looks clean, impactful, and rewarding, giving you that skill-based action feel with an emphasis on dodging, timing, and combo execution. Whether you're a veteran from the old MMO or new to the world of Vindictus, there's a lot to love here. On number 11, we have Daba Land of Waterscar, a brand new action RPG crafted by indie developer Darkstar and powered by Unreal Engine 5. If you're into games inspired by Dark Souls and Nioh, you're gonna want to keep your eyes on this one. We can see the combat, and let me tell you, it's intense. There are a lot of tough, formidable enemies that'll punish your mistakes. And yeah, expect a lot of deaths. It's very much following the Soulsborne tradition of learn, adapt, repeat. While we don't have a release date yet, it looks so promising that it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. On number 10, we have Mark of the Deep. This game is a pirate-themed Souls-like Metroidvania developed by Mad Mimic, a studio out of Brazil. And here's the kicker. This might actually be the first pirate Souls-like game we've ever seen. Crazy, right? One of the coolest things about Mark of the Deep is that the story feels much more prominent than your average Souls-like. You've got fully voiced NPCs to chat with, a hub world where you can regroup and strategize, and multiple endings based on your choices, where even your allies might walk the plank if things go sideways. It's a game that's designed for replayability, with side quests, branching narratives, and plenty of reasons to dive back in after your first playthrough. On number 9, we have the Relic First Guardian, a brand new Souls-like action RPG that just showed off its latest trailer at the Future Games Show 2024. Here's where the game set itself apart. There's no leveling system. Instead of grinding XP, you'll grow stronger by exploring the world and finding runes, crafting upgrades, and collecting powerful items. It's all about how you choose to build your character and adapt to challenges. This creates a more immersive experience where your growth feels tied to your exploration and choices, not just a pile of numbers. The game is targeting a 2025 release date, but if you're as excited as I am, you can head over to Steam, wishlist the game, and follow updates from the dev team at Project Cloud Games. On number 8, we have Nazralath: The Fallen World, a game that looks like it crawled straight out of a nightmare and somehow manages to feel even darker and grittier than Elden Ring. Now, as you've seen in the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. Nazralath doesn't just look dark, it looks otherworldly. The monumental structures, surreal landscapes, and chilling tone feel like they're pulled straight out of a Lovecraftian fever dream. There's definitely a nod to the vibe of Elden Ring and Dark Souls, but this world feels even more twisted, more alien. You get this overwhelming sense of dread, like you're walking through a place that shouldn't exist, yet it does. On number 7, we have Soulframe, the next big thing from the creators of Warframe. First things first, Soulframe is not just another Warframe clone. While Warframe was all about high-octane sci-fi action, Soulframe slows things down and shifts into a fantasy world steeped in themes of nature, restoration, and exploration. Instead of chaotic, fast-paced shooting, you'll have to think through every action, timing your dodges, parries, and attacks carefully, which is very reminiscent of Souls games. If you're a Warframe fan or just love the idea of a slower, more methodical MMORPG set in a stunning fantasy world, Soulframe is shaping up to be something special. On number 6, we have Tales of Iron: Two Whiskers of Winter, the sequel to 2021's brutal yet beautiful 2D Souls-like that no one saw coming. Combat in Whiskers of Winter is just as tight and punishing as you remember, with a mix of dodging, blocking, and parrying that feels like solving a fast-paced puzzle. But here's where Tales of Iron 2 ups the ante. The weapon now dulls over time. After just 10 swings of your sword or spear, your weapon's effectiveness drops to 0, and you'll need to find a moment to sharpen it. And trust me, in the middle of a boss fight where you're already dodging and parrying for your life, scrambling to heal and sharpen your weapon adds a whole new layer of tension. On number 5, we have Project M, the latest dark fantasy action RPG coming from South Korean developer Hound 13, the same team behind 100 Soul. This game shaping up to be a visually stunning dark fantasy RPG powered by Unreal Engine. And when I say dark, I mean it. this game pulls no punches. The early gameplay prototype is all blood, severed bodies, and intense combat, setting the tone for what looks like a gritty, brutal world. While Project M looks like it could deliver a great single-player experience, early details suggest this will almost certainly be an MMO. That makes sense considering the game is being developed with support from Garena, the company behind Free Fire, and other major online hits. On number 4, we have Phantom Blade Zero. The game draws comparisons to Sekiro and Nioh, but with a closer camera angle and a more cinematic presentation. It's a style that feels unique, blending traditional samurai combat with over-the-top action. It really feels like watching an action movie. And of course, the combat's not the only thing that shines. Phantom Blade Zero is a love letter to classic wuxia films and martial arts storytelling. The environments are moody and atmospheric, with focused, well-designed levels that immediately draw you into the game's tone. On number 3, we have AI Limit, a brand new sci-fi Soulslike that brings style, speed, and some seriously cool anime vibes. If you've played any Soulslike, the combat in this game will feel familiar, especially with its Bloodborne-inspired parry system. Tap L2 just as an enemy's attack lands to stagger them, opening them up for a brutal counterattack. But of course, the game introduces an interesting mechanic of its own called the Nucleus system. Instead of a standard Souls-like punishment for death, Nucleus necklaces let you decide how you gain and lose souls. Want higher soul gain but risk losing it all on death? Equip a Nucleus for that. Prefer safer play? Use a Nucleus that retains more souls but reduces how much you earn. It's a flexible system that adds an extra layer of strategy to your runs, letting you tweak the risk-reward balance. On number 2, we have Wuchang Fallen Feathers, the latest Souls-like RPG that's making waves and aiming for a 2025 release. From what we've seen so far, Wuchang Fallen Feathers delivers everything you'd want from a Souls-like experience. Sword fights that are precise and brutal, and parries and dodges that reward skill and timing. But there's more. Wuchang also has access to magical abilities. In the latest trailer, we saw her harness lightning, darkness, and other elemental powers to obliterate enemies. It looks like you'll have plenty of tools at your disposal, so expect tons of combat variety. If you're a fan of games like Wolong Fallen Dynasty or Black Myth Wukong, this one should definitely be on your radar. On number 1, we have the first Berserker Khazan. This game uses a slick anime-inspired 2.5D art style combined with cel-shaded graphics, giving it a unique edge that stands out in the genre. As for the combat, at first glance, Khazan feels like your classic Souls-like, stamina-based battles, punishing enemies, and high-stakes encounters. But once you dive into combat, its unique mix of influences from Sekiro and Nioh starts to shine. The Brink Guard parry system, for example, is incredibly satisfying, allowing you to stagger enemies, restore stamina, and seamlessly flow back into a guard stance thanks to a smart cancel window, making it perfect for players who thrive on aggressive, up-close combat. But wait, there's more! Imagine my excitement seeing another brand new Elden Ring game. Elden Ring Nightreign is a new co-op Elden Ring spin-off, designed as a standalone game for up to 3 players. Announced at the Game Awards, this spin-off takes place in Limveld, a parallel world inspired by the original Elden Ring universe. This game does not include a character creator. Instead, you will choose from 8 preset builds, each featuring unique weapons, abilities, and ultimate skills. To tackle tough enemies, you can coordinate with friends by combining tank, DPS, and support roles. While combat feels similar to Elden Ring, movement and team strategies are more emphasized in this game. And there you have it, fellow gamers! Which game is your favorite? Did we miss one that deserves a spot on the list? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more epic gaming content, and ring that bell so you're always up to date on the latest and greatest games. Until next time, and happy gaming!